Well, here we are again. Today really is Friday at 5. I'm Jeremy Beaver, CEO and founder of Listen Vision and the Hip Hop Museum with my DJ, the one, the only.
B-Dub the Boy Wonder.
Oh, Mike, wait. DZ, we need a wireless really quick. We forgot a microphone for the DJ. It is beneath him. Oh, that's a new way to do it. This is a new way to start the show. Okay, what mic is that? All right, cool.
Happy Friday, sir. How are you?
Hey, happy Friday.
Good to see you.
It's nice to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I swear I wasn't cheating on you yesterday.
Okay. That's all right.
Oh, man. Well, we, as you know, we had a really cool special edition.
Yep.
With one half of Showbiz and AG, the one and only Andre the Giant.
Yep.
With special guest DJ RBI.
My brother.
Who withstood 19 hours to and from drive to Milwaukee with me. Woo. So there's nothing to be jealous of there. But it was an amazing trip to Milwaukee for the nation's first government-sanctioned hip-hop week.
Yeah.
And we're going to recap that on the show. But most importantly, we have one of the most legendary Queensbridge MCs of all time.
Facts.
Juice Crew legend Craig G is on the show today.
Yes,
if you're not interested in that, you're not hip-hop. I'm sorry. And, of course, we got adorning the set, Dropping Science, one of his biggest singles. And, of course, Marley Marl's House of Hits, which contained The Symphony and many other amazing Juice Crew tracks. But before we do anything, let's get right into Today in Hip-Hop. DZ, next show, let's do an echo for that, okay? I've decided that we're going to do it, okay? Echo effect. Going to up the production value. So we have a lot of news. Let's get right into it. Okay, my boy DJ Doo-Wop and AZ are performing and touring everywhere. Shout out Doo-Wop, who's been inducted into the Hip Hop Museum and is doing shows with the Artifacts and Sean Strange and 38 Spesh and AZ and all sorts of amazing people. That's going to be at the A3C, I guess, convention and concert there. That's an amazing lineup. Go check that out coming soon. We also have crazy news that a toy company has purchased Death Row Records. That's right.
Wow.
Hasbro now owns Death Row Records. So, yes, we've already known it. We have the Snoop Dogg action figures. We have the Tupac action figures. I don't think they ever made a Suge Knight action figure, thank God.
Hasbro got it. Who knows what happens?
He'd be like a teddy bear. Like a gangsta teddy bear. Anyways, let's go read that article to find out more about why a giant corporation owns a gangster record label like Death Row. In other corporate gangsta news, the CEO of Goldman Sachs is a DJ that goes by the name of D. Sol. His real name is David Solomon. He does not spin hip-hop, but I thought this was a cool piece of news because it's so counter to what anyone would think a CEO of Goldman Sachs would do. And apparently, he's out there. Like, he's touring. He's really playing gigs and stuff. It's not a joke. Okay, today on the show, we have Craig G. Craig G is one of the most influential MCs to come out of New York because of his work with Marley Marl and all of the singles that he released at a time when hip-hop was really taking shape and becoming a little more hard-hitting, a little more edgy, a little more higher production value, okay? And he's going to be on the show right after this news section. But also coming up for Howard Homecoming, the one and only producer Manny Fresh is going to be here. Oh, okay. Well, there's Howard Homecoming itself. Okay, so leave that there, DZ. On October 11th and 12th, we're going to have like the 15th annual Howard Homecoming Performance Showcase here at Listen Vision. If you're an independent rapper or singer, give us a call, 202-332-8494. That's 202-332-8494, and you can actually perform a set here at the, there's the picture. That's what it looks like. Open air, amazing concert. For 15 straight years, the independent artists perform with us, and the major label artists perform on the quad at Howard across the street. And then we also have, during that weekend, is Manny Fresh. Do we have that flyer there for Manny Fresh, DZ? Howard Homecoming with Manny Fresh. Yep, there we are. HU Culture Ball. That's going to be happening, I guess, Saturday the 12th at night at the Hard Rock Cafe with Manny Fresh. So go check that out because he's dope. DJ Jazzy Jeff and DJ Scratch. The two of the greatest DJs of all time are on tour together. These are their tour dates. They're going to be in Brooklyn and Ontario and Michigan and Illinois and Minneapolis. I'm not going to read all of these names, but they are the Vinyl Destination 45 tour. I guess that means they're going to be spinning lots of 45s. Those two guys are masters. So that is Yoda and Obi-Wan of the turntable hip-hop scene. So go check out them in a city near you. Speaking of things to check out, Jimmy Spicer is now Jimmy Spicer's been a little bit recluse for many years, but he's coming out and he's talking now, man. And after 26 years, after his last recording, rap pioneer Jimmy Spicer reemerges with a new record and is making claims that are pretty crazy and insane. And I'm not going to tell you what they are. They're not insane, but they're fantastical. And you should go just read that article about Jimmy Spicer, and now he's back out. So let's get back to know him because he is really, one of the founding fathers of hip hop. Speaking of founding fathers of hip hop, the Fat Boys, we had Cool Rock C just a few weeks ago on the show. Stick 'em, ha ha ha, stick 'em. And we love Cool Rock C. And Cool Rock C made a statement on Facebook the other day that I'm just going to put out there. Jaz-O's song Hawaiian Sophie was originally written for us, the Fat Boys. We recorded it, but then the label turned it down. Yep, there you go. There's a fact you didn't know. Wow. Dropping gems on them. I drop a gem on them. There you go. I guess that happened. But those things happen. That's happened a few times. Okay. Let's see. On October 19th, Masters of the Mix. Masters of the Mic at the Ritz Theater Performing Arts Center in New Jersey. Look at who's on this show. Biz and EPMD and Funkmaster Flex and Big Daddy Kane and Rock Kim. How can you miss a show like that? October 19th. In other throwback news, Missy Elliott has a new song. Guess what it's called? Throw It Back. That's right. It's interesting. I love Missy Elliott. I'm not going to say I'm a fan of this one. She is playing double dutch with like giant braids that are coming from her head. So that's kind of cool. But go check out Missy Elliott. We love Missy Elliott. We just love Missy Elliott.
That's what she performed at the VMAs there? Yeah.
She did perform at the VMAs. In fact, I'm reporting on that. DZ, can we skip past the Milwaukee thing and do that last? Do you see the MTV VMAs thing? Let's just go right to that. So the MTV VMAs thing, the MTV Music Video Awards, go ahead and put that up on the screen, is at a new low for ratings for a third straight year. And the reason I'm reporting on this is because I believe that we're seeing, a distinct trend in the fact that traditional television ratings, that are going down. You and I grew up on MTV and traditional television, and it's just now it's Netflix and streaming and all that. So I think that's an indicator of something much larger. After these pictures, DZ, we'll go back to recapping Hip Hop Week in Milwaukee. So we'll go right now to Nas's new video, No Bad Energy. Well, I'll tell you something. His whole new album gives me bad energy. I'm sorry. I love you, Nas, but I really don't like The Lost Tapes Part 2. I don't even like this song. There's literally no drums in it. That's not my steez. I love you, Nas, but I'm not feeling the latest project. But maybe why? Because he didn't do all of the tracks with this next guy, Pete Rock and Sky Zoo. So Pete Rock, had some of the most infamous, tracks on Illmatic and has worked with Nas many times. Even has a new track on the Lost Tapes. But he has also a new video called It's All Good with Sky Zoo, and it's super dope. And that's how hip-hop should sound, in my opinion. Humble opinion. Pusha T and Lauryn Hill have a new song together. Yeah, I said it. She showed up and recorded it. Can you believe it? She actually came to the studio session. Called Coming Home. It's actually dope. Maybe she phoned it in. I don't know.
Was she on time for the studio?
No, she was 4 hours late. She was 4 days late. She came exactly on time 1 month later. So that's a dope song. I listened to it. And also Rakim's new memoir, Sweat the Technique. He's going on like a book tour. So check him out in a city near you on September 25th. He's going to be at the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture at the New York Public Library. That's a great institution, the Schomburg Center. Okay, so go check out Rakim's, book tour, memoir book tour. Okay, and some sad news. Rest in peace to one of the most prolific graffiti artists of all time, Stan153, who has left us all too soon. He is an incredible, influential late 70s, early 80s graffiti artist who got really well known for bombing the train yards in New York. So if you want to see some really historic and amazing work, please go Google him and hit images and see all the amazing stuff that he did well before everyone else was doing it. Hiero Day is this Monday. That's right, an entire day dedicated to the hieroglyphics and the million other acts that are performing on September 2nd. And my favorite podcast in the world, Take It Personal, has created a 6-hour fucking tribute because they're not normal and they love hip-hop as much as I love hip-hop. And I gotta tell you, we are so thankful for 6-hour-long tributes that they do. RBI and I listened to quite a few of their 6-hour tributes, especially the DJ Premier one going to and from Milwaukee. And it was I guess that's who maybe their biggest fan base would be, is it would long-distance truckers, right? Because when you're making a 6-hour podcast, trust me, guys, it is much appreciated to have all of that content for all of those mindless driving hours. My favorite guys in the world, the Artifacts, rest in peace, DJ Chaos, are coming out with a brand new album with Buck Wild, and I'm going to show you the video at the very end of the show, so we're not going to play that right now. What we are going to play right now, we only have just a few minutes to get to it, is the full recap of our trip to Milwaukee. Hold on. That's right, here we go. Hip Hop Week, the first nationally sanctioned Hip Hop Week. The trip till Milwaukee. Here's the official behind the scenes pictures and videos. Let's do it. All right, picture number 1. I'm going to just narrate and we can just flip through them. There's Scarface, one half of Do or Die. Do or Die received a legacy award with Scarface, and that's me hanging out and getting memorabilia signed from them backstage. Keep it moving, keep it moving. That's what the place called is the Rave. That's from the outside. They had a whole beer garden out in the front. It was absolutely enormous 1920 building that was there in the middle of Milwaukee. It's one of the coolest, biggest, and most amazing music venues in America. Keep it moving. Oh, Libby Castro. Big shout out to Libby Castro. If it wasn't for her, we might not have gotten the entire exhibit up in time. She is a very, very talented interior designer and decorator and came out to help us. The entire gold, platinum, and diamond award wall was all designed and put up by her, installed by her. Thank you so much, Libby Castro. She was the plug in Milwaukee, and that's her handsome husband, Patrick. Keep it moving, keep it moving. That's another handsome fellow you might have heard of, the one and only yours truly, Jeremy Beaver, standing in front of the podium. And we put some of the memorabilia behind the podiums and the DJ to kind of make our award ceremony look a little cooler. Keep it moving. That's what the award ceremony room looked like. This is about 1/4 of the size of the room for the performances, but this is, the room was a packed house, absolutely packed for the award show. Keep it going. That's me standing there with Devin the Dude and the Legacy Awards shadow box that we put together with all of their memorabilia that's now signed. Next picture. That's me with the Do or Die Gold and Scarface Platinum Rap-A-Lot RIAA award in the death row chair with the sneaker racks next to me. Next picture. These are people gawking and eyeing the amazing memorabilia that's, in the collection. Keep it moving. My DJ looking amazing. Look at RVI looking amazing with the gold and platinum plaques behind us. Hip Hop Week. Yeah, keep it going. Just keep it moving like that. Keep scrolling like that. That's great. There's our curator, Red Summer, and our merchandise and microphones signed by the biggest names in hip-hop. Thank you, Red. Thank you, Devin the Dude. I smoked weed with Devin the Dude, which is as cool as eating the Wu-Tang symbol with Raekwon. If people know me. That's what the awards look like. I was so lucky as to have picked out that acrylic kind of plastic shape and everything of that award. Really beautiful design there. Mystical on stage. Man, he is amazing. That man has more hits than Willie Mays. That is Alderman Rainey in the middle between Red Summer and I, and he came up with Hip Hop Week. He is the council member there in Milwaukee who invented Hip Hop Week and the nation's first Hip Hop Week. Look at me and Mystical. He's so cool. He's so freaking nice. And there, of course, is my girl Red. There he is sitting in the death row chair. Shout out DJ Devious, who fabricated that chair, and now he's sitting in it looking like a gangsta with the chain. That's our chain. My man Bun B and his wife. He talked to me extensively about the coloring book that he created and signed, and his shows are always amazing. He's solid, man. He's a real sweetheart. What a great guy. I probably shouldn't say that. He's probably wants a gangsta image. Look at that. That's Benny the Butcher with Mystical and broadcast legend Homer Blow behind them. Look at that on the step and repeat. What a great picture I take. Isn't that great? I'm an amazing photographer. Just kidding. All right, so here I want to read this. You're going to have to zoom out. So this is maybe the most poignant story of the entire week. If you could zoom out just a little bit on this picture, DZ. This is an incredible Facebook message that we got after the installation, and I'm going to read it to you all right now. Hi there, thank you again for a fabulous, educationally fascinating MKE experience for my daughter and myself. We miss seeing Scarface, yet all the superb talent and entertainment of the many dedicated DJs and lyricists was a fine, fulfilling showcase of hip-hop pride and success. My daughter, who is autistic, and I purchased some t-shirts and a cap from a young, foxy, and very sweet young lady, and she snapped a picture of my Becca in her black Tupac tribute shirt. If she still has the photo on her phone, if possible, would she be so kind as to forward it to me on the Facebook Messenger? My name is from Milwaukee, and my son's memorial card is my profile pic, so she will have the right Facebook account to message me through. My son was into the local rap scene as an artist. Tragically, he suffered for 20 years from bipolar disorder, depression, and chronic pain disorder, and he perished from an intentional psychological medication overdose last September after being despondent from his fiancée leaving him for an old college friend. Next slide, please. Him for an old friend. I know he was with us in spirit at your fine display and epic concert, and I would feel honored to post his little sis's pic on his page. Thank you again for an evening we will forever cherish, and I know my Rick, aka Carbon Lungs, enjoyed from his celestial balcony in the stars. We can see a picture of Becca now, and that's her daughter, Becca, who was there. And rest in peace to her son, Rick, Carbon Lungs. We love you, and we appreciate you guys for coming out. And we want to let you know that we feel your love, and we unite with you through our common love of hip-hop. How beautiful is that story? Isn't that great? Yeah, man, that really chokes me up. I'm not going to lie. That really chokes me up. So let's see at the very end here. Let's see these last two videos. We're going to show two videos of Bun B and Devin the Dude, and then we're going to get the one and only Juice Crew's finest, Craig G, on the phone. So let's take a quick look at what Bun B looked like in the gigantic ballroom performance hall there at the Rave in Milwaukee. Yeah, the place is absolutely enormous.
I see.
Absolutely enormous. And guess what? What you're looking at is them sectioning that room in half.
Woo.
So for Kevin Gates, it was twice that size. Literally, you can't even fathom how big that place was. So what we're going to do now is we're going to watch the Devin the Dude, a little bit of the Devin the Dude performance, who I love. And And while we're doing that, we're going to get the one, the only, Queens Bridge finest, Craig G on the phone. So sit tight and check out Devin. There you are, the one and only Devin the Dude. Incredible performance he put on, Mystical put on, and Bun B put on, and Do or Die. It was a really amazing concert. But right now, on the line, all the way from New York, the one and only legendary MC, Craig G. How are you, my friend?
Queens, New York.
You know, I was going to say Queens, New York, but I wasn't like sure you were physically in Queens at this moment.
I actually am, I'm actually waiting to get ready to go to the studio and record. I'm working on an EP right now.
All right,
and speaking of projects, shout out to Devin the Dude, who was on my 2012 album, Ramblings of an Angry Old Man. That's my boy. So,
perfect.
Shout him out.
Perfect. Definitely shout him out. And let me tell you, Craig G, randomly, I love doing cool things with hip-hop legends. So, like, we had a commemorative cake made in the shape of the Wu-Tang symbol. And then I ate the Wu-Tang symbol cake with Raekwon the chef. Right?
Nice.
So then, like, at the Devin concert, like, I was, like, hell-bent on, like, smoking weed with Devin. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
You gotta be careful with that.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, no, he would smoke me under the table. But I just mean, you know, like, for instance, if you and I went to, you know, the National Symphony Orchestra, I would love to conduct the symphony with Craig G. Does that make sense to you?
It does, but when we do that live, that's Kane's job.
Okay, if we could turn Craig up just a little bit. I'm having a little hard time hearing him, although I'm sure he's loud and clear on the air. Now, listen.
I was saying that that's Kane's job to conduct the symphony when we perform it live.
Right. No, so I'm going to be honest with you. One of the biggest, saddest moments of my entire music career is not catching you guys at Sony Hall. Because I had a family obligation just recently when you guys played there. And I'm absolutely aware of just the enormity of having you guys get back together and perform that. So hats off to you for being able to, you know what I mean, get back together and still do that type of stuff.
Well, you know, the Sony Hall show was one of many. We started like actually getting together and doing it probably in slowly but surely. And it's really nothing personal. It's just that we're all separated. People live in different states now. So, you know, we have to kind of like plan it. So the next one we're doing is September 28th at the Art of Cool Festival in Raleigh, Durham. And it's us, Kane, Houdini, and Run DMC performing.
Oh, I did see that. And do you remember the date?
September 28th at the Durham Bulls Ballpark.
All right. If you're even in a 3-state radius of that concert and you don't go to it, there's really something wrong with your head. Okay? Because that type of lineup is so historic and so special. We reported actually on that show, I think a month ago when it was being promoted and announced. So that's amazing. But let me get right into your interview because, you know, we do these interviews as kind of like an audio-visual archive, you know, of your career to make sure that, you know, before we induct you, we got all the knowledge, we got all the goods, we got the backstories, and we always start off with one question, the same question every show with every legend. Craig G, what is the very first song you ever heard that made you fall in love with hip hop?
Actually, I would say that it was probably, I mean, it was Rapper's Delight to a degree because that was the first time you actually heard it playing on the radio. But where I grew up, they already had neighborhood rappers and park jams that made me want to be an MC.
And so, interestingly enough, Master G, the founding member of the Sugar Hill Gang, actually has a show here on Thursdays at 5. And just last night,
That's
that's
my man. I've done shows with him. I forgot. I used to call him Jack LaLanne because he's in incredible shape for a guy to be his age.
Oh my God!
So
God!
I jokingly call him Jack LaLanne. So
yeah. No, he is in impeccable shape, and he's an impeccable dresser, and he's got incredible style, and he's just a great human being, and I love his wife Renarda as well. But
that's my man.
You know, I gotta be frank with you, Craig. You know what would you say, B-Dub? 90% of our guests cite Rapper's Delight as, you know, the song that made them fall in love. In fact, go ahead, say hi. This is my DJ B-Dub, Craig G.
What's good?
What's going on, King? How are you, sir?
I'm chilling.
That's good.
So B-Dub is, one half of hip-hop and action, and every single week we start with that question, and then we always go right into, okay, well, if that's what made you fall in love with hip-hop, what was it like before you started creating hip-hop growing up in Queensbridge, New York? What was it like in Queens?
Well, amazingly, for one, what you have to understand as far as my career goes, I was extremely young. So, when my first record came out, which was the rap version of Shout by Tears for Fears, I was 12 years old.
What?
Yeah. When the symphony was out, I was 15.
Oh, I guess you just have such a mature look and presence. I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
Yo.
I'm 46 years old.
Yeah, no, I'm 43, so that's wild, dog. Oh, so what were your parents thinking?
You're not going to be able to do shows on the weekdays. You're going to have to only go out on the weekends. And if your grades aren't good, you're not going to be able to do most of the stuff that a lot of them do. A lot of times people say to me, hey, do you feel overlooked as far as your contributions to the Juice Crew? And I explained it to them that, a lot of the reason is I was too young to be outside past a certain time of night.
Yo, are you listening to this? That's wild. So it's like, the show ends like it's like 11:30, and your mom's like, "Let's go, Craig. Get in the car. You have school tomorrow."
And even back then, I don't know a show that ended at 11:30, so I just didn't go.
Right. Wow, that
you know
is
what I mean?
wild.
It had to be the weekends, and like one of my brothers would have to come with me or someone like that.
So back up a bit though, okay? Because that's not normal at any age, okay? At any time frame in time for 12-year-olds to be rapping. Like even nowadays, that's just not even actually very normal. So why do you think you got into rapping, and was rapping the first thing you got into? Did you get into something else before it, like DJing or b-boying?
Well, the weird thing is that, like I said, there were a lot of neighborhood groups in Queensbridge, and my brothers were a part of one, and they kind of made me want to rhyme. But before that, I was in a breakdance crew called Twice as Nice, and I wasn't that great at pop locking, and they had a talent show at the legendary Reese Center in Queensbridge, and there were too many members, so they kicked me out.
Well, wait, how many members were there in Twice as Nice?
Man, they were people just from my neighborhood.
And they kicked you out?
When they kicked me out, I admit it, I wasn't that great of a breakdancer, so
well, at least
when they kicked
admit
me
it.
out, I decided to rhyme in the talent show, and I came in second place. And then that's when it really made me realize, hey, I can really do this. And then, I had to have been like 10 or 11 by then, and then like maybe a year and a half later, I wound up making a record. So
I just think it's really funny because we had AG on a special edition of the show yesterday, and AG was telling us how he was in a rap group called R2D2, and no, that's a true story. And he got kicked out. It was only 2 people though. The other guy kicked him out because he wasn't showing up at practice enough, which is another funny thing. But it makes me feel like being kicked out of that group that you were breakdancing in and him being kicked out of his little thing, like maybe actually lit a fire under you guys. Like, oh, hell no. Like it almost made you burn inside more for it.
I actually took it for what it was, man. I knew I wasn't that good as a breakdancer. I actually knew I wasn't, But, it was just the thing to do during that time.
Okay, but then how did you transition from b-boying to like rhyming? Like, okay, you get kicked out. You're like, but I still love hip hop and I want to do something.
Well, everybody rhymed, back then, and it wasn't whether you took it serious or not. Like I remember one of my friends, he used to take like the things out of Encyclopedia Brown and turn them into rhymes. So we always rapped, but like I started taking it serious when I started to see, like, the people come to the park when they had DJs there, and the way they commanded the crowd always caught my attention.
And then, do you remember
really
the first time you ever recorded your voice?
In a real studio, actually.
No,
it was when I did my first record.
Actually, not in a real studio. Just the first time you ever recorded yourself.
The producer LES, who worked with Nas and all of that, was like, we had a rhyme crew, and we used to go to his house to rap and make tapes. And I remember being, I don't know, maybe 11 years old, and you remember when everybody had that rhyme style, a Devastator, Dominator, I remember saying masturbator and not knowing what it meant, and everybody laughing at me.
Yo, God, you started so young. He's like, yeah, so I was practicing in my mom's womb, and when I came out, I cut my first record. It's like, damn, Craig G. A little ahead of yourself there. So, okay, so at some point, first of all, are you still in touch with LES?
Oh, yeah, he lives down in Virginia. I speak to him occasionally, but he's usually on tour with Havoc and Big Noise, but I speak to him every now and then.
Oh, he lives in Virginia, like far from D.C., do you know?
Yeah, he's on the radio in Virginia. I forgot what station, though.
Okay, we're going to have to get in touch with him, maybe invite him to drive up, because our historian, Jay Kwan, is actually in Richmond, so it's not that bad of a drive from, Hampton Roads area.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's what's up. All right, so now you're rhyming, you're making probably pause tapes like we all were back in the day. Then you got to get into a studio. If you can remember, what was your very first studio experience like?
My very first record.
You got to be
That
kidding
was my
me.
first. The weird thing is that Marley Marl lived in my building.
And now it all makes sense.
And when you lived in Queensbridge, you knew who all the rappers were.
Right.
And you would go from block to block battling people, and then one day, Marley just knocked on my door like, "Yo, you want to make a record?"
Stop it.
I was like, "Bet."
Stop it.
And
hold on. Now, stop right there. What were you doing at the time? Like, you were just in your apartment, just chilling? You're playing video games?
Probably in the house watching TV or something, yeah.
And he just knocks on your door. You're like, and you're 12?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he knew you rhymed. He knew that.
Yeah, he knew.
He knew you rhymed. He knocked on your door. Yo, what are you doing, Craig? Nothing. I'm just watching TV. He's like, yo, you want to make a record? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what record came of that? What was the first record you recorded?
That was Shout Rap by Tears for Fears. You don't remember Shout?
Right.
Shout.
Let it all out.
I did the rap version in '85, and the fortunate thing, I'll tell you another story about that real quick. But the fortunate thing about that is that Shout started to become an urban hit as opposed to a pop hit. So on the urban stations, they would play the original mixed with mine. So I was getting a lot of daytime airplay.
What? I don't.
Yeah.
This
doesn't.
Here's
the weird thing.
God damn.
Here's the weird thing. remember, I told you this was my first studio experience.
Right.
So we get to the studio, and they put the track on, and I pretty much start rapping for like 7 minutes.
Right.
And MC Shan happened to be there, and he had to teach me how to break down the verses into like parts.
Yo, that's just wild. So basically, you're like, Luke Skywalker, and he's like Obi-Wan, and he's like listening to you.
Yeah.
He's like, you're like swinging your sword like nonstop, and he's like, yo, Jedi, slow down, calm down, break it up. Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, I was from the school of just rapping in the park and rapping live. So
right.
it
And were
wasn't
these
like I
written
was
rhymes?
reading anything.
Were you spitting written?
It was half and half.
Uh-huh. Oh my
was
God.
half and half.
So now you're in the studio. MC Shan, of all people, is teaching you how to break your bars down. And like, what are you thinking in your head? What are you feeling? Like, is Marley at the boards? What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I had no inkling of the process of it, so I wasn't upset. They weren't telling me to change my rhymes. They were just telling me, you can't make a record rapping for 6 minutes straight.
Right. Oh, my God.
There has to be some sort of breaks in it. So that's what happened. Then, mind you, like I said, I'm 12 and a half, probably not even near 13 yet. And, again, I'm like, okay, well, tell me how to do it,
Wow. I'm like, this is the worst interview. I'm so sorry. I'm just like actually kind of in shock the whole time. Because, Chi Ali is a good friend of ours, and he lives here in the Maryland, Laurel area. So like he had kind of, similar kind of experiences, just kind of like not knowing, his ass from his elbow, and everybody just kind of going, oh, we'll do this and try that, and next thing you know, you guys have like these hit
when
records.
Think about it, the same with the Juice Crew, that whole crew, like the digging, and they knew what they were doing. So we were fortunate to have people who were already knew what they were doing,
mentors.
At us being so young, you know what I mean? Because it's hard enough, wanting to go outside and play basketball with your friends and cooped up in the studio.
Well, of all the Juice Crew members, because you're so young, which member do you think helped you the most in kind of, getting your rhyme style and cadence and flow down to the most? Who was kind of influential the most to you?
Well, first it was Shan. And then, I used to hang out with Master Ace a whole lot. And Ace is like a writer. Like, he writes nonstop. So I was picking up tips and pointers from him as well, because he was much older than me, Yeah.
He's also a good friend of ours. And would you believe Master Ace sent us the trophy from his very first rap battle?
Well, yeah, he'll tell you, like, I was the first one to kind of embrace him in the crew, because Marley had this thing where you had to come to Queensbridge and record, and you'd wind up waiting outside for him for like 2 hours. So one day I just happened to be going up there, and I just wound up hanging out with them until Marley showed up, and we became cool. So.
Wow. So, okay, let's fast forward a little bit, because the Juice Crew is, everyone's familiar with. What we really want to kind of, I guess, know about, because to us and most people, Marley Marl is like one of the greatest, in my, our opinion, top 5 hip hop producers of all time.
Yeah, I think it's very disrespectful that they leave him off these lists.
Well, first
and
of all,
I'm not really into lists. I don't really.
I was just
care.
gonna say, fuck the lists. The lists are horrible. The lists are terrible.
But it's totally obvious that people do not like. It's like the saying your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. Like, he's like your favorite producer's favorite producer.
Which should tell you that if every other producer names them in their top 3 or 5, then that is a fact. Like, we spent 19 hours driving to Milwaukee, me and our, music director, DJ RBI, and we listened to your guys' Juice Crew show from 1989, Tim Westwood. We nerded out, to really crazy.
I wasn't there.
Oh, right. You were still a fetus, right? I forgot.
I was actually in '89. Was I a freshman in high school? I think so. I think I was just starting high school.
That's actually a good question because we were just listening to that concert, and yes, you're right. You were noticeably missing. But is that simply because you couldn't travel abroad to the UK?
I just, again, my mother was a director of a preschool, so education was always something with her where you couldn't take days off of school to do anything.
Really kind of explains.
It
really
was.
kind of explains a lot. I suspect that once you got a little bit older, you really started feeling, musically and creatively more free, to do more things. Did you feel handicapped by your age at all? Like at that time, did you feel at all handicapped?
Well, what it was, and I would say, I felt handicapped by the fact that I had a lot of ideas, but I was so young I didn't speak up on them. So, to me, honestly, I'll be completely honest with you. I hated my first album on Atlantic Records. I couldn't stand that album. The Kingpin. I hated that album.
Wow.
So much that the follow-up album was actually called Now That's More Like It.
Whoa. I didn't realize that's why you called it that, because your first album's like a classic.
I hated that album because, again, I didn't have any real input in it. And, when I signed to it, I made a hip house song called Turn This House Into a Home. And just, back then I actually liked hip house music, before it got real crazy.
Right.
And that song, Marley used to DJ house music also on the radio. And he played that song and it became a huge hit. But it was out maybe a year and a half before I even got a deal on Atlantic Records. And the A&R who signed me was a house DJ.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
I mean, you remember
yeah,
that was
Merlin
the
Bob.
everyone was
Merlin
in that
Bob.
fad from Jungle Brothers, to the rest of them to do little house
And
hip
the thing
hop
about
songs.
the thing about it wasn't a fad to me. I actually, at one point you went to a club, they played everything. They played house, hip hop, R&B, everything in one place.
Yeah.
And I actually liked house music, but by the time I got a deal for that album and put the album out, that song was already 3 years old. And then they talked me into doing 2 more house records.
Yeah, and you're young, so it's not like you can really say no.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll be honest with you. I really did not find my own groove until I I took a long break from music. I took a long break from music, almost 10 years, because I was so young that when I left my deal, I had a dissatisfied taste in my mouth. But at the same time, I was too young to spend it, so I had $300,000 in the bank when I turned 18. So I was able to go, I don't want to do this anymore for a minute.
Right.
I actually went to community college. I had a child. And then when the independent started to come into play, I felt more freedom than I could possibly ever feel, where I can do exactly what I wanted to do and actually put forth my own persona.
That's a really interesting. I'm glad you can kind of look back on it with such clarity, because I think for every person like you, there's probably a hip hop guy who got burnt out and didn't return to it.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If it wasn't for the indie game, I probably would have never came back.
You said ADA?
If it wasn't for the independent game, I probably wouldn't have came back.
Right. Well, I'm only just asking this because I'm a crusty old DJ myself. Dropping Science was so amazing. It's kind of what do you think of when you hear records like that? What are your thoughts on it? Because from my perspective, it was just so golden.
Yeah, I mean, look, my second album came out in 1991. I didn't make another song until 1997. And it was an independent record called Welcome to the Game. And I remember Mark Sparks, who was a huge producer from North Carolina who did a lot of work with people. I remember us recording the song. I remember probably spending $1,500, and the single selling like 30,000 copies. This was still the golden age of indie, where there were mom and pop stores, and a single actually cost $3.99, a vinyl single.
Right.
And when that happened, I said, wow, I don't have any meddling A&Rs. I don't have any of this stuff. I just go to the distributor with the music and collect money.
Wow. Because if you just if you do the math, 30,000 times, even $2 is quite a substantial amount.
I think I was getting maybe $1.50 a record. Yeah.
Right. No. Well, interestingly, that's how I kind of came into the game. I'm an old DJ who put out break records and discovered that, oh shit, you could sell 20,000 records, and I was getting $6.89 a record. I always remember that price.
Yeah, and these weren't albums at first; they were just singles.
Right, those are singles. Yeah, I'm talking about albums. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was testing the waters.
Well, I mean that independent game, became quite serious, in the mid to late '90s and then 2000s, with many different companies.
The Mirror Association, where there was just a whole bunch of mom and pop stores all interconnected, all down and up the East Coast. I would drive to these stores, and in stores, and it was work.
Yeah.
But it was more rewarding work because it was work that you put in that you actually got to see the results from.
And there was a tangibility to it. I got to be honest. I miss those days that you're describing right there because that's the hip-hop scene I came up in. The independent, I was born in 76, so I was a DJ until I started becoming a producer. And once you realized you could make music independently and take your records to stores, like you said, I mean, it opened so many doors for so many artists. There's probably whole labels that wouldn't exist if it weren't for that.
Yeah. And you know what else, to be honest with you? It kind of boxed me in to having to be a businessman.
It forced you to get that acumen
which
up.
was a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was a good thing.
No.
Because, I was always, I had a super producer behind me, so I didn't have to do much.
So tell me,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, have you worked with, since those first two albums, have you done any work with Marley since then?
We put out an independent album in 2008 called Operation Take Back Hip Hop.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God, how could I forget that?
I had Talib, KRS, Sadat X, Rocka from Dilated on it. I had Core Mega on it. Yeah.
Go get that, by the way, because I've totally, you get to a certain age, you start having brain farts. I was actually listening to that 2 days ago in the car, and that's a good example, of how legendary hip-hop acts can create new boom-bap music that all people can get down with. Do you know what I mean? Like a really universal sound. I thought in a good way.
That's why, ever since, after the D&D album, which I would honestly say kind of warmed the underground hearts to me, my album titles have been very humorous. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Operation Take Back Hip Hop to me was like kind of an inside joke. Then the next album was called Ramblings of an Angry Old Man, which was a joke. Which was a joke because everyone seems to think I am so much older than I am.
Well,
so I owned it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's actually weird because he's really not much older than myself, and and we just thought you were in your 20s back then.
Right. And it's funny even hearing him mention about these names of the albums because he actually had one called I Rap and I Go Home. So, it's funny actually hearing about
you
that.
had an album called I Rap and I Go Home? That's hilarious.
That's the last album I put out in 2006. I mean, 2016.
16, yeah.
It's called I Rap and Go Home. I have Kool Keith, Cannabis, Buckshot, Rock from Helter Skelter, Razzcast on that album. Yeah.
Listen to that lineup.
Yeah.
What an incredible
I put out a lot of music, and, I don't really... at this point, I consider myself a legacy artist. I just put out music to go on the road.
You say that last part again?
You have a new project out. I said I'll consider myself more of a legacy artist now. I put out projects mainly to go on the road.
Yeah, I mean, geez, I'm with you. If you can work smart and not hard, that's the way to go.
Yeah,
especially with digital distribution.
It's now the traditional ways of purchasing music are dwindling by the minute.
Yeah.
So if you put out an album and you expect to be seeing giant royalty checks, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, you sure are. You sure are. Well,
So-
let me ask you, because we don't have unlimited time, and there's so many questions I want to ask you. But you know, just because we're talking about it, and you have so much kind of good new music, you know, I think relatively new music. You know, if people want to book you, if people want a verse from you, if people want to work with you, where's the best way to hit you up for everybody out there?
Bookin, BOOKIN, without the G, CraigG@gmail.com. Or hit me up on social media. I answer when I can. You know.
Yeah, tell them what's
So-
your Instagram, what's your Twitter.
My Instagram and Twitter is MC_CRAIG_G. And honestly, I'm hardly on Facebook, so you're better off catching me on.
Okay.
I've been off of Facebook since the great parent migration of 2012.
Listen, and it's funny because you and I were talking on Facebook, but you know, when I try to interface with all you legends, I will find y'all. Everyone's on something, so it's either Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'll get to y'all. In worst case scenario, we'll send smoke signals. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think I hit you. Like, hold up, why am I not involved in this?
Oh, that's right. That is true. That is true. I mean, listen, you know,
Yeah,
we're a
I probably-
nonprofit organization, so if we had Coca-Cola backing us, you know, we would have inducted so many people at this point. But I will tell you, we're only 7 months in. And in 7 months,
Yeah.
we've covered a lot of ground. And I want to let you know, that this interview, as everyone's aware, is always our Legends' precursor to their induction ceremony. But when we do your induction ceremony, we make a big deal out of it. We fly you into town. We
Hey.
put you in a hotel. We give you an award. We buy you dinner, blah, blah, blah. You
I
know?
appreciate that, man. You know, listen, my thing is that I am more a man of the people, but it feels good to be acknowledged for the years and years of work you put in. So,
Listen,
what I mean?
That's why we did this, Craig, because we noticed nobody was honoring the cultural musical legacy of hip hop and black music. There was this giant chasm, and I recognized that 2.5 years ago, and quickly created the largest collection of hip hop memorabilia and artifacts in the world because I saw that giant hole. And this brings me to our final and greatest question, which is, Craig G, if you could represent your career and legacy in music with an object or item that you might have in your possession or closet or storage unit, is there anything that you would like to donate to us so that we can make a nice display for you?
I'm going to have to look for it, but I think I have something. But I'll have to tell you off air
Okay.
because I may not have it. I think like an old girlfriend might have taken it, but I have to go look.
We'll hunt her
find
down.
her. Yeah, we'll find her.
What's her name?
We're really good at this.
Yeah, it's my old cold chilling Warner Brothers varsity jacket.
Oh, I just had a heart attack, Elizabeth, I'm coming
But
to meet you.
I have to find it.
I swear
have to find
on
it.
my Nana's grave, I will find that girlfriend, and I won't beat her up. I'll just romance her. I will romance her and sneak into her house and break in and get it.
Yeah, it was kind of dope too. I was kind of disappointed, but I think it could be I have a storage unit full of stuff. I have to look for it. So.
Okay, I will meet you at the
But
unit. No,
if
but seriously,
not, I will find something equally interesting for you.
Okay. Well, listen, we will. Our curator, Red Summer, will contact you. Probably not Monday because
Okay.
it's a holiday Tuesday. So we'll give you a call next week and we'll discuss it because we take it really serious. On when you watch this episode back.
Well, it's a good thing, man. I appreciate that you guys do this because of the simple fact
man.
that, as fans, people don't understand the amount of work, the amount of time consumption. Like when you speak on Chi Lee, guys like maybe Special Ed and myself, we've kind of sacrificed our whole childhood to be in the music business.
Yeah, and we recognize that, me and B-Dub, and I don't think everyone does. So from the bottom of our hearts, because guys like you just said, Special Ed was so young, Chi Lee was so young, and then really, you could see what happened in his life later on. Really got the results of that. And so we just want to say thank you. Thank you for your dedication.
Psychologically, you have to understand this. You're 13 years old, 14, 15, 16, and everyone's telling you yes. And you're hot for a minute, and then all of a sudden,
you're not.
You're getting a bunch of no's. It's kind of hard to deal with, and that's with any child entertainer. And I have like a very strong amount of empathy for them.
Right.
The fact that I was able to walk away and reassess things, I think, is what really got my head screwed on straight.
I'm gonna dare say that you were raised right. And having a mom who owned, a child, what do you say, pre-K center, child care?
Yeah.
Like,
she was the director of the one in Queensbridge.
Yeah. To me, that sounds very instrumental because a 18-year-old with $300,000 in his bank account usually goes, how can I multiply this, not how can I walk away and keep my sanity?
Well, the first thing that I did was got a house. That was the very first thing I did.
Amen, brother. Real estate.
And when that happened, it was like I made it. I don't really, you know what I'm saying? So, and I've never been really a hugely flashy guy. So, so to me, like I said, I like sneakers and weed. My life is not that complicated.
Wow, you and I could be
Did
best
you just say
friends.
sneakers and weed?
He did.
We're cool.
This is literally my new best friend. Wow.
Yeah,
well, guess what we have inside of our recording studio? We have a dispensary. Literally. I'm not joking.
I actually saw some pictures of that.
Yeah. Oh, right, from AG, right? AG got a free gift. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Okay.
Listen, Craig G, we want to say thank you from the bottoms of our hearts, not just for your amazing music, but like you said, the sacrifice you had to make just to even do it at that age. And I will contact you offline and until we speak next time. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
I appreciate it. And the last thing I will say is this. If you walk up to any veteran artist, I kind of don't like to use the word old school, but veteran artists, before you ask them, are you still making music? Do some research, man. I have 7 albums out. So, and there's a lot of other guys like me that are still recording and performing and making really good music.
Yeah.
But it's just being dismissed because of this whole, he had his chance attitude. And that's not what music's supposed to be looked like as.
Yeah. In fact, I think we need more OGs and veterans making music to counteract, I think, some of the concerning messaging and culture that's going on in some of the music today. So I think you have to balance that.
It's a huge demographic thing, and I get it, but I just wish that hip-hop wasn't the only genre where they treat the music as disposable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because listen, it's no shots to Migos or anything like that. But there's no possible way you can say you're the greatest group in history as long as Run DMC exists.
On that note, can you drop a bomb on that or something? Drop the bomb on that. We literally.
And I'll expound on that before I go. If it wasn't for Run DMC, you wouldn't be doing stadium tours. If it wasn't for Run DMC, you wouldn't have sneaker sponsorships. If it wasn't for Run DMC, you wouldn't be on mainstream TV. So you can never possibly say you're the greatest group ever when the greatest group ever allowed you that platform to do it.
Right. Well, it's also just ignorant. They say things that are factually not true, and it hurts people who put in all the time and the years like yourself. And listen, man, we got to bid you.
And I'll even say this, you can't blame them. They're not educated. I have an issue with the grown people co-signing it. Stop going along to get along and start educating these people about the history of our music instead of just chasing a check and acting a certain way. If you're 50 years old in the club doing the Dougie and you're not Dougie Fresh on stage doing it, stop it.
Oh, my God. Craig G., thank you so much for being with us. One of the most legendary, amazing MCs in all of hip-hop, and especially coming out of Queens. Sir, we will talk to you soon. Thanks again.
Sir.
All right, peace out.
Absolutely. Peace, guys.
All right, peace. You guys, we got just about 5 minutes left in the show, and what we're going to do is we're going to go right into our featured video section because we got a couple great videos we want to show before we get off the air, okay? And the very first one we want to show is the best head spin I've ever seen in my life. That's right.
Already got a headache.
No, I'm sorry. I lied. That's second. The first thing I want to show is a quick little teaser from the new Artifacts and Buckwild produced album. Okay, here's the teaser, and it's coming soon.
Started off, holocaust, bars talking. Remarkable caution, we cross bars and force margins. Bars barking, Mars jumping when we toss barking.
Oh my God, Elda Sensei, you're a genius. Tame One, you're a genius. Rest in peace to DJ Chaos. Buckwild, your beats are ridiculous. That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't wait for that album to come out. Also, I've never seen someone hula hoop while doing a head spin. This is the greatest head spin I've ever seen in my life. Take it away. Yo, I'm not kidding you. That's got to be the greatest head spin I've ever seen.
I'm dizzy already.
That shit was amazing.
That was great.
Holy cow. Shout out you. God, I wish we had your name. Okay, shout out Vicky Toback. Sadly, her amazing display, the Contact High display installation at the Annenberg Space in LA has come to a close, but look who came to visit it on the very last day. Check it out.
This jacket right here. I wanted this jacket so bad. I still want that jacket though. I got to get that jacket. This is like a piece of art. I didn't just buy a Rakim something and put it in some glass in the crib. That's how crazy Rakim was. Images. We playing the family shoot. It's where Faith and Biggie met.
There you have it, the one and only P. Diddy checking out the closing of the Contact High installation at the Annenberg Space. Shout out Vicky Toback. An amazing book that she's put together there. The last thing we're going to show is, I don't know, the world's fastest sign language interpreter. So, remember Rap God? We saw one who did Rap God, but now this is Twista, who I think is actually rhyming even faster. So check it out. We're gonna close on this video, and then after the video, we're gonna play an entire walkthrough tour of the Milwaukee Hip Hop Week installation with the Hip Hop Museum. We're going to do the whole walkthrough video tour, okay? So this is the world's fastest sign language interpreter with Twista, and then a tour of the Hip Hop Museum in Milwaukee. Until next Friday, I'm Jeremy Beaver, CEO and founder of Listen Vision and the Hip Hop Museum with my DJ, the one, the only
B-Dub the Boy Wonder.
And let me not forget to shout out our sponsor, Trueheads Clothing, trueheadsclothing.com. You can now get all of your Trueheads apparel and hatwear online. And here at Listen Vision, we now have our own display. That's right. So come here. We have about 50 hats in stock, all different colorways. We're right here at the entrance to Howard University, and we absolutely love TrueHeadsClothing.com. That's heads with a Z. Okay, until next week, we will check you later. Peace.
You just don't want to do it next to the memorabilia, you know what I'm saying? There's like a million bathrooms and bars.
I'm the shit. Been this way since I was a kid. Can't hold back and broke the bed. Go to second, crank